So I just had this aha moment, and I'm sorry about the location here, but I wanted to get this out. So I'm watching news this morning, and they're talking about Israel. Now, I'm going to get back to Ukraine in a second and explain how this applies to Ukraine. So just bear with me. So since October 7th in Israel, American bases have been hit 61 times. Now, they could be small things, a drone or just a mortar or a missile or whatever, right? Could be a small thing. 61 times, and we have struck back 3 times. I thought it was 4 times, but we've struck back 3 times. So the commentator is interviewing Mark Esper. Esper is the former Secretary of Defense, and he's explaining that, look, what's really happening is we're not showing deterrence, or we're not giving them a reason to be deterred from this. And he said it's a mentality. And I thought, wow, that's what's going on in Ukraine. Very often I'm asked, like, why are the Americans slow rolling the equipment to Ukraine? Like, why are certain tanks just arriving now? Why are F-16s just in a pipeline, but they're not actually getting there? It's because of the mentality. So the mentality of the Biden administration has historically been, let's not escalate and make it worse. And by doing that, by having this let's not escalate mentality, yes, you've avoided consequences on this side, but you've not avoided consequences on the other side. And many Ukrainians have died because they didn't have the equipment that they needed, because our mentality has been, let's not escalate. So it's actually been Putin that has deterred us more than us deterring him. Okay, so and I'm not saying that Trump is a better solution. That's not where I'm going with this at all. Like, we just don't have a particular an authority that is actually doing what we want them to do. We have Biden trying not to escalate, and by doing that, they're getting it, but they're getting it slowly. Trump would be no better. I would hope that we would have a politician that would give them everything that they need in order to do this, but have this mentality of deterrence, like, hey, you do this, you're crossing our red line, and let's get this stuff out. So what he said about what was going on in Israel, about, not Israel, but it was in Iraq and Syria, where these American bases were being hit, and we only returned any kind of answer 3 times. Again, I thought it was 4. By doing that, we're showing weakness, and you can't show an authoritarian dictator weakness. It just doesn't work. Any authoritarian regime, whether it is an Islamic authoritarian regime, or Putin, or any of his buddies, North Korea, anything like that, you can't show weakness. That just does not work. At any rate, I hope that helps you piece together what clicked for me, which is that it's not that we are trying to not equip Ukraine, or that we're trying to wear down Russia but not actually win the war. I don't think that that's it at all. So that's the hopeful part of this message, that it's not something nefarious. It's just that the Biden administration has had a mindset of, how do we do this without escalating? And that's come to bite us in the butt. They've been weirdly, this is a strange term for it, but they've weirdly been too conservative in their approach to providing things to Ukraine. I hope that clarifies some things, helps you understand what's going on. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.